morning, everybody. It's a beautiful sunny day in Vista, California, and I am going to shoot my number 4 video of unbagging vintage textile treasures from the thrift store. And my name is Catherine. I have a company called CA Originals by Catherine, and I make wearable art clothing out of all the vintage fabric that I find. So I want to just tell you about pieces as I'm taking them out of the bag, and then I'll show you some examples about what I make out of them. I have a lot of bags today, but we're only going to do 2 or 3, and then we'll stop and make another video. Here we go. The first thing in the bag is a beautiful India tapestry. It looks in pretty good condition. I'm going to hold it up so that we can zero in and get a closer look at it. These are always 100% cotton, made in India. Very often, if you find older ones, they're the hand-stamped wooden art pieces that are carved to make these. This one is a little newer, but it's still 100% cotton, and it's beautiful. And some of the things that I make out of them are skirts like this. I may have shown these on another video, but each one is always different. So vintage denim waistband, and I call them industrial skirts because they're kind of shabby chic and fun, and people who like to wear jeans love them. So there's that one. I'm just going to throw them down right there. Here was my find of the day on this trip to the thrift store. A beautiful cotton floral tablecloth. This one's circular, and I do a lot of different things with vintage tablecloths. I don't even see any stains, which is always a good start. My friend Wendy's here, and she's going to show you a shirt that I've been making called a camp shirt out of vintage tablecloth. This is a patchwork of pieces. And see, here's a little Mexican motif. I'll combine it sometimes with the gingham prints that are also tablecloths. And it has mismatched vintage buttons and picking up colors that are on it. Thank you, Wendy. That looks so cute on you. And here's a couple more, so you can get the idea of why I call what I do wearable art, is because each piece is different, no matter if I'm using the same pattern. When you're working with the great vintage fabric, they always come out very special and unique. I save my scraps on these. These are my favorite thing to find at the thrift store. And I'll show you a couple things that I make with the scraps. I do little purses. These are tablecloth with a great button. Here's tiny ones. I've had a lot of requests for tiny ones. You can put your cell phone in here, although I also make cell phone cases, which I'm usually wearing mine around my neck. This one has a piece of old quilting, but there's old drapery. Combine it with denim. They're very, very handy, and people love them. These purses are washable. Something like this I charge around $30 for these little bags. And these smaller ones are even less. And I also make bigger ones too. So there's the find of the day on that one. Here's another tablecloth. This is the gingham. I love getting these thicker, heavier texture pieces because I combine them. I showed you the shirt that has that in it. And I make aprons for grown-ups out of these, and children. Here's Here's one with an old quilt top piece. And here's one with some other pieces of floral tablecloth and lace and some of the gingham. And these are all 100% cotton. One of the nice things about vintage is that you know it's cotton. There's no mystery. And I do them for children too. Let's see if I have any children's ones here. I thought I did. Yeah, here's my toddler. Oh, about 4-year-old, 3, 4, 5 years old. Here's one for a girl with a little bit of hand embroidery on it. And here's one for a boy or a girl with farm and animals. And the pattern I use, I just fold up the bottom and you can make big pockets with that. So this will definitely get used very well, even the small scraps. Okay, next in our bag are some pieces of cotton. I don't really look for vintage. You can tell how old something is by how wide it is. This is fairly contemporary. It's probably about 48 inches wide. I always like to get the older stuff, but you don't always find it. So these are just nice cottons that I can mix with some of the projects that I do. This one's got little ladybugs on it. Here's a piece in gray, more like 50s men's shirting. I would be thinking this is probably older. And it's a little older, it's a little narrower. So whenever I'm at the thrift store, I always look for cottons. You can usually pick them up very inexpensively. And everyone knows at the fabric store, they're going through the roof. If you can even find a fabric store. We had one in our town for years and years, and it just closed down during the last year. So what can I show you that I make with these? Here is a cute little apron I do for children. I don't know if I can show this on the camera very well. It's this old 20s pattern. It's like a smock, I guess, that folds up in the back. So I started doing these for kids. And then here's another one with just some vintage cotton. And here's a bigger size with some bunny rabbits on it. So then I had requests from the grown-ups. They wanted one too. And so I designed a pattern that would be high enough under the arms so that perhaps someone could just wear an undershirt or a t-shirt and still go out with their jeans on and go to the store or go to the beach, or because it's got all these great pockets in the bottom. And I look for whimsical, funny fabrics. Here's chickens. And these sell for around $40. Okay, let's get these back. And we're going to move on to the next thing in the bag, which is another lovely India bedspread. And this one I can tell it's never even been washed. This particular place that I go, they just seem to always have India bedspreads, and I am so pleased because I love making things out of them. I do wonderful dresses, and I already showed you the skirts. Next time I'll have, oh, here's a dress. This is one. It's just a simple shift with big pockets. I try to do just a simple design. Yeah, it's a little breezy today. A simple design to show the beautiful fabric. That's my goal in most cases. And here's another one. I also do this dress in vintage linens, and on future video I'm going to show you some of those. It was so hot around here last summer, I couldn't make these fast enough. it was wonderful to have a simple dress that people really liked. So there's that one. Okay, that's the end of bag number 1. Oh, thank you, Wendy. Now here's number 2. Oh, this is another India tapestry, but this one is all machine embroidered. I have to thank Wendy. She was with me that day at the thrift store and she found it. It's a circular, so I probably would do skirts. And it looks in pretty good condition. I love things with the faded blue or a chambray sort of look, or where they have used indigo dyes. Very often in the Indian bedspreads, they will use real indigo dye. So this could be a skirt like I showed you before, or it may end up being a dress. We'll see. I'm very open to, sometimes friends will see things and make suggestions and tell me what I should make. But it's a nice piece to have in my collection. And here are some more cottons. This is a color that would just go with everything. This says General Fabrics Company. I've never heard of that one. And this looks like about 44 inches wide, so I'm thinking 60s, maybe 50s, year 1960s or 50s. Here's another piece of cotton. Sometimes when I'm piling things up in the sewing room, something will land next to something else and I'll go, oh, you belong together, and I'll end up making something together with the different pieces of calico. Now there's a few, the next thing is a beautiful, oh my goodness, beautiful piece of border print fabric. It sort of looks Asian, and it's black, and it's 100% cotton. I can feel it's about 3 yards. So this looks like something that would make a lovely dress. I just love the design. I love border prints too, where I can put the design around the bottom of the skirt, or sometimes I'll have it going across the top. So a simple shift dress like this is a great idea for a piece of fabric like that. I'll wash it first though. And here's another Bali batik. I've been in Bali and bought these myself. They're made by hand. They often have a border around the edges, and they call it a sarong. It's a length of a sarong. The men would wrap them around their waist, or women would wrap them around and tie them. It's about 2.5 yards, and they're always beautiful. Sometimes long periods of time go by and you never see one, and other times you collect a lot of these. So I do my dresses or skirts or all kinds of interesting things, or combine it with some other colors. So what's next in our bag? Oh, here's a piece of lining, just navy blue cotton. Nothing special about that. And the last, oh, I see there's 2 more things. I'm going to do this one first. These were some gigantic linen tablecloths in a color that I just happen to love. And I hope they weren't dyed. It looks like they came this way. They're linen damask. They don't appear to have stains. Very often, the linen napkins that went with a linen damask tablecloth that were just kept in the cupboard and they didn't even get used very much. But it's quite a lot of fabric. it's almost enough for like the front of a blouse, or there's a patchwork dress that I do where pieces like this will come in very handy, and it's a great color to mix with other things. Sort of like a faded mustard yellow color. And the last thing in this bag is another thing that's in the same color range. This is a silk sari from India with a beautiful border on it. Saris are normally about 5 yards long, and if you can find them in good condition, which this one looks, I think we saw a stain or two, but it's in pretty good condition, and they will come out. I do skirts and dresses and scarf tops, I call them, just simple blouses. Let me see. I think I'm going to wait till the next video and show you one, because they sell out as soon as I make them. So I don't even know if I have it. Oh yeah, we could show this one. This is a scarf top made of one single scarf, and this is the same weight of the silk. But what I would do is make a like a tunic style top with that's nice and long with side slits and this beautiful border down along the bottom. Thanks. So there's one more bag I want to show you, but there's only one piece of fabric in it. And it was just this giant piece of cotton. So there's yards and yards and yards, and I think I paid about $8 for it. This will be so wonderful once I wash it for the aprons I do, the dresses I do, the children's things, or it's a red print with little gingham squares with cherries in it. So this was probably the best find of the day economically for making things, because there's, as you see, there's a lot of it. So I'm really happy about that. And I wanted to take a second and show you what I'm wearing. I'm wearing one of my own, this is a linen shirt, and I call these shirt tails. I don't know if you can see over the table. And where I cut up the back. Wendy, do you want to show? This is my good friend Wendy, and she was kind enough to come over and model for me. This is a piece of the vintage tablecloth in the back, so I turn men's shirts into women's shirts. Sometimes I cut the sleeves off if they're too long and put the cuffs back on, or just shorten it all together. And people of all ages and sizes seem to love these, because we all used to like to wear our dad's shirts, I guess, when we were younger. And this is actually the first one I ever made that gave me the idea to make them, because the shirt was a little too small for me when I got it. But I love the print. Turquoise is one of my favorite colors, and it didn't have any pocket on it, so I used some of the lace to make a pocket, and I opened it up the back and cut the sleeves, and I love it. Wear it all the time. So that's it for today. If you have a chance, look up my other videos on YouTube under Catherine Gould or under Unbagging Vintage Fabric from the Thrift Store. And I'll see you again. Thank you for watching. Bye.